डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Namaskar students, I am Dr. Himanshu Patel and I am working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad, and I am your instructor for this module. In today's session, we will take demonstration of various control. Let us start this demonstration so that you can have hands-on training on how to use these various types of Vigad control in your app to make it reach. The next type of control is progress bar, seek bar and rating bar. So let us try to understand these by opening its Java file and layout file. So this is my layout file. The first thing you see is progress bar, and when this start button is pressed, I want to display progress. Now this is a seek bar, this is a text view which actually displays the value selected by user of seek bar, and then there is a text view which displays rate your learning experience, and then there is a rating bar. Now all these controls are available inside Vigad or palette. You can drag and drop here. You can see progress bar horizontal here. You can see undeterministic progress bar here. You can see seek bar, rating bar, right? So from these you can use all these controls. Remember the name of each control. So let us see inside attribute window. So the name of these button is BTN start. Name of this progress bar is progress bar. Name of seek bar is seek bar. Name of this text view is txt value. Name of this text view is not used in program, and name of this control is rating bar, right? So we have to refer these name inside our coding. So I hope you understand this layout. Now let us go to Java file. So first we have initialized object that we want to use in our coding. So I declare progress bar, seek bar, rating bar, button and text view to display value of seek bar, right? This is a variable declaration or object declaration. Then always we have to set content view, which is activity underscore progress bar underscore demo in our case. Next we initialize all these control or objects. Progress bar refers to progress bar in layout, seek bar refers to seek bar in layout, and so on. So using find view by id method, we initialize all these objects, right? Now what we want to do is, inside these button click event, I want to display progress inside progress bar, right? So I have written one method which takes integer argument as a progress value. So I call set progress value and provide 0 as an argument, right? Now let us try to understand definition of set progress value. So here you can see method set progress value. So it takes integer argument which is progress. So I write down progress bar dot set progress to value specified by user. So initially my progress bar is set to 0, right? Now next what we want to do is, we want to increment these progress bar by 1, and we create artificial delay of 100 millisecond between each progress, so that it shows smooth transition from 0 to 100. To perform simultaneous task we use thread. So this is a thread So first we have to create or declare object of type thread, and we have to initialize that object. So I write down new and thread, right? But inside that we have to implement interface runnable. So this is a highlighted portion is a code that should run in parallel using runnable interface method run. So these actually creates one anonymous interface called runnable, and inside that we actually write down coding. So these highlighted portion that we write down inside run method is actual task we want to perform. So here I write down thread dot sleep. Now these 100 specifies millisecond. So we want to stop execution or for 100 millisecond or 1/10 of second, right? Now these sleep method may throw interrupted exception. So we write down try catch, this statement inside try catch, and if progress is less than 100 or until progress reach 100, we want to increment progress by 1. So I call set progress value, which recursively call this function to last progress value. So initially it is 0, so next time it is incremented by 1, so it is goes to 1, then 2 and 3 and up to 100. So finally we call thread dot start, which actually execute this run method. So this code will increment value of progress bar 1 by 1 and until it reaches 100, and there should be delay of 100 milliseconds between each progress, right? We want to understand this part, seek bar, right? So here I write down seek bar dot set on seek bar change listener. That means whenever seek bar is changed, this callback is called. Now inside that it defines on change listener, which has actually 3 methods. One is on progress change, that means any value is changed when user actually start moving seek bar, this method is called on start tracking touch, and when it stops moving that thumb, this method on stop tracking touch method is called, right? So we implement 3 methods. Now how to write down these? So for that you have to just write down seek bar dot set on seek bar change listener, and here inside new you have to just double click first option and it will write down 3 methods for you. You have to just focus on what you want to do when progress change, what you want to do when tracking is started, and when user stop moving progress bar. That's all. So this is how you can write down these 3 methods. Now when user moves that progress bar, I want to display value of seek bar inside text view. So here you can see the first argument in on progress change is seek bar. The second argument is value, which is important to us, right? We can use this value to display in that text view. So I write down a value of seek bar is whatever value currently is. This is how I can change value when user moves that seek bar thumb. In start tracking touch, I display one toast that seek bar is touched, and when user stop moving seek bar, I display seek bar stop moving, right? This is a coding for handling seek bar. The last is a rating bar, right? I have declared rating bar here, I have initialized rating bar here, and then I write down rating bar dot set on rating bar change listener, and here we have to write down instance of new rating bar change listener, and there is only one method on rating changed, right? Now it provides three arguments: the rating bar itself and value which is selected by the user. Inside toast I write down rating is and v is the value of our rating. So if it may be 4, it may be 5, it may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3.5, it may be 4.5. So whatever value selected by user will be displayed in a toast. I hope you understand how to get value of progress bar, seek bar and rating bar. Next we want to test this app inside phone. So for that I have to just right click on progress seek bar demo and then I have to select run. So it will install that app on my device. You can see here. Now I am clicking on my start button. So you can see that progress bar is slowly moving and it will reach to 100 and it stop. For these we have to use thread, right? Just click on that, it displays seek bar touched. Immediately seek bar stops moving. Now I am moving this. So you can see the value of seek bar is displayed in text view, right? And when I stop moving, it displays seek bar stop moving. So this is how we can use seek bar. Based on its value we can perform some task, like here we display just value in a text view. You can perform anything based on value. Now here I write down rate your learning experience, and when I click on last star, so it displays rating is 5. If I click on in between fourth star, it displays 4th. Now you can also display 3.5 or 4.5, right? So based on where user clicks, it displays immediately value selected by user. Now remember, in a e-commerce site they provide some submit button also, so that unintentional feedback cannot be submitted. It should be used with submit button. So I hope you understand how to use progress bar, seek bar and rating bar in your app. The next control we want to discuss is web view. So I am just clicking on web view demo. This is my Java file and this is my layout file, right? So layout file is very simple. Here is the edit text where you need to enter your URL. Then there is a web view where we want to load our web page, and at bottom you can see one button with caption open URL, and by clicking on this button we want to open URL given by user into this web view, right? The name of button is btn open, that you can see from attribute window. The name of web view is web view 1 and name of edit text is txt URL, remember. So our interface is very simple. Next we want to write down our coding part. So for that we have webview demo.java file, where you can see I have declared 3 objects. One is web view, another is button and third is edit text. First we declare required object, then we initialize those objects by using find view by id with corresponding object in layout file, and here I set one important thing, that is web view client. So inside web view client you have to provide object of web view client, right? So now what is web view client? So here I write down new my browser. So my browser is basically class that extends web client. Now let us see the definition of my browser. So after all definition you have to write down this class, with name my browser and which extends WebView client. So basically my browser is a WebView client, and you have to just write down these method. Public boolean should override URL loading, and here you get argument WebView and URL that you want to load. So inside view, where a view is a web view type object, so you write down view dot load URL and then URL that you want to open, and here I write down return true because return type is boolean. Now why we need to write down this web view client? Suppose you want to open your web page from some remote location, right? If it is within resource file, you need not to write down this web view client, but if you want to load your URL which is some remote page, then you need to provide web view client to web view, and it is nothing but one class which extends web view client, which override one method should override URL loading, and inside that you have to just write down one line view dot load URL and URL that you want to open, and finally we return true. So this line of code is required to open some remote page into your web view. Inside button open click, we have write down string URL, which is a URL typed in these edit text. So we write down txt URL dot get text dot toString. Here I write down webview1 dot get setting dot set load image is automatically true. So all images in web page is automatically downloaded when you open that page. Then we have write down webview1.getSetting.set JavaScript enable to true. So if any JavaScript code is written within that page, it can be executed. So for that we need to write down this code, and third line specifies that if the page size is large, we can have scroll bars inside our web view. So using webview.set scroll bar style, we can specify the scroll bar, and finally we will call load URL method to actually open that web page specified by URL. And since we have override this method should override URL loading, we can open any page. This is how it works. Now remember, for these we need to use internet. So inside manifest file you have to write down this line, use permission, and permission you want to use is internet. So remember not to forget this line inside your manifest file, otherwise it will not be able to use internet and load your page correctly. So this is why we need to write down this line. Now next we want to execute this activity inside device. So I am clicking on run activity. Now it will install that activity inside my phone. So here you can type some URL, right? So here I am writing URL of my university, baou.edu.in, and after writing URL, I need to click on open URL button to actually open that page. So I am clicking on that. Now it will open that page inside my web view, and you can see here scroll bar, so that you can scroll the content, right? You can see the web page inside web view with scroll bar, and all images are automatically loaded, and any JavaScript code is there, it can be run inside our web view. So I hope you understand how to use web view to load any URL onto your web view. If you want to use full-fledged browser, then you must use any browser installed on your app using implicit intent. The last control we want to discuss is search view. So I am closing these files. Now This is my Java file which demonstrates search view, and this is my layout file. Here there are three controls. The first is text view, which write down enter keyword to search. Then we have actual search view with name search view, and below it is a list view, right? To declare list view, you can see here list view can be declared like this, and here we need to provide id, width and height. So it is very easy to declare list view. Now next what we want to do is, let us understand from design. So here user types some keyword, right? What I do is, based on user input, I want to filter content available in this list view. So for that we have to initialize some value inside this list view, and based on user input we want to filter those values which is there in list view. So let us see how to do that. So inside search view I have declared two objects. One is search view and another is list view, right? Now here I declare the list of cities. So it is a array of string which actually defines number of cities for us. So here I write down first city in double inverted comma, then comma, second city, comma, and in double inverted comma you have to write down every single string. So this is how we can declare and initialize string array. So city 0 refers to first city, city 1 refers to second city, and so on. So index starts from 0, remember. So this is a string array, right? Now next, this is a set content view which actually sets our layout for activity, and here we initialize two object, search view and list view with corresponding object in layout file. The next code is array adapter. So we have already used this array adapter in autocomplete text view and multi autocomplete text view. So you can easily understand what is adapter is. So here I declare adapter object, and it has three argument. First is a context, so we write down get application context. Second is how we want to display each item in a list, and third is a actual string array which specifies values. Here all these values are defined using this control in adapter, and we set list view adapter as a adapter using this code. So list view dot set adapter method will set adapter which is specified as a array of string. When user types something in search view and click on that search icon, then this callback method is called set on query text listener, right? So how to write these? So here inside search view you have to write down set on query listener, and here if you just write down new, it provides first option, and by double clicking on that it will write down both the method for you. You need not to write down these method manually, right? So this is how we write this method. Now there are two methods. The first is on query text submit. It means when user types keyword and then press search bar, this method fires, and when user actually types text, this method on query text change fires. Now what we want to do is, we want to filter content based on data type by user. So you will get whatever type by user, you will get inside this string S. So what here we write down is adapter dot get filter, and what filter we want to apply is S. That means anything which starts with S or contains S will be shown on screen. In both the case, we want to filter adapter based on data inputted by the user, and that data is available in this string S. Let us try to run this inside our device. So for that you have to right click on search view demo and then click run. So it will install that app inside phone that you can see on the screen. Here I am start typing. So there is nothing with H. So if I press A, you can see all cities starting with A is displayed, and if I press H, 2 characters, then based on that input data is filtered. For example, if I write down B, only text which starts with B is shown on the screen. Similarly, by pressing S, we can filter cities that starts with S, or by clicking on these, we can submit these data to search provider. So search view is generally used to perform search, and data may be from list, it may be from some database, or it may be from some content provider. So based on search, you can submit your response to search provider to perform appropriate action. I hope you understand how to use search view in your app. Friends, in this session we have learned about various types of Wiget controls. I request you to write down all these activity by creating one Android Studio project and do same project again yourself. I hope you enjoy this demonstration. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परमः